The windshield had frost on the inside. She scraped it with her nail, the same way she used to check a baby's temperature with the back of her hand. Old habits never leave. They just wait for you to need them again. Her name was Margaret Crawford. She was 70 years old. She had spent 42 years as a nurse in the NICU at Boston Children's Hospital. And for the past 5 months, she had been sleeping in the back seat of a 2009 Honda Civic. The car was parked in a Walmart in Quincy, Massachusetts. It was 3 a.m., October. The temperature outside was 38 degrees. There was a notebook in the glove compartment. Black cover, yellow pages. 847 names written inside. 847 babies who came into the world too early, too small, too fragile to survive. She had held them against her chest when their hearts forgot to beat. Their parents were told to say goodbye, but so many of them went home anyway. She had written every name by hand, the date they arrived, the weight in grams, the number of days they stayed, and one word at the end when they finally left: home. That notebook was the only thing she had left. This is the story of how she got there. The story of a letter from Social Security that said her pension had been suspended. Administrative error. That is what they called it. 8 months of phone calls and hold music, and they still called it an error. Her pension was $2,340 a month. Her rent was $1,850. Her blood pressure medication cost $380. When the checks stopped coming, she had 11 weeks before the math broke. The furniture went first, then the jewelry Harold gave her for their 30th anniversary, the books, the dishes. Finally, the coat that still smelled like him. She kept the notebook. People asked why she did not call someone. She had numbers in her phone, people who would have answered. She opened the phone once, scrolled through the names, put the phone away. Margaret had spent her whole life being the one who showed up, the one who stayed late when the night shift was short, the one who answered the phone at 2 a.m. because a baby was crashing and someone needed to be there. She did not know how to be the one who needed help. Her thumb hovered over the call button. She put the phone away. So she disappeared, quietly, the way old women do when the world stops paying attention. Nobody knew she was there. She made sure of that. There are rules to living in a car. She learned them fast. Never park in the same spot twice. Leave before the morning shift arrives. A cheap gym membership for showers. A library to charge your phone. A diner where they don't mind if you sit for 3 hours with 1 cup of coffee. And never, ever tell anyone what you're doing. Because the moment you say it out loud, you become something people feel sorry for, something they want to fix. Margaret did not want to be fixed. She just wanted to survive. This is her story. If it moves you, please like this video and listen until the end. Let us know which city you're listening from. That way, we can see how far Margaret's story has traveled. The first week was the hardest. She had a system. She thought she did. She would park in different lots each night. Walmart, Home Depot, the movie theater on the edge of town, places with big parking lots where one more car would not be noticed. She kept a blanket in the back seat. 2, actually. 1 wool, 1 fleece. Harold's coat folded under her head as a pillow. She learned to sleep in pieces, an hour here, 45 minutes there, never deep enough to dream. The first night, she did not sleep at all. She sat in the driver's seat with her hands on the wheel, watching every headlight that passed. Police cars made her heart stop. People walking through the lot made her hold her breath. She kept the doors locked and the keys in the ignition, just in case. The second week, she found a rhythm. Wake up at 5:30, move the car before the morning shift arrived, drive to the Planet Fitness on the edge of Quincy. $10 a month for a membership, the best money she ever spent. She would shower, change clothes in the bathroom stall, brush her teeth at the sink. There were other women there who did the same thing. They never spoke, they just nodded, the silent acknowledgement of people who understand. She remembered something Harold said to her once. 3 months before he died, he was sitting on the porch of their apartment watching the sunset. He took her hand and said, "Maggie, if something happens to me, promise me you'll ask for help when you need it." She told him she promised. She lied. She spent her days at the library, Central Branch, downtown. They had outlets near the windows. She could charge her phone and read for hours. The librarians never asked questions. They just let her be. She read everything she could find about surviving on the street. Not because she thought of herself as homeless. She was not ready for that word. She just wanted to know the rules. One afternoon, she found a book about NICU nursing, 2019 edition. She had helped write part of the training protocol they referenced. She sat in the corner and cried, quietly, the way you cry when you are surrounded by strangers. At night, she would park and wait for the lot to empty, for the darkness to feel safe. She kept the notebook in the glove compartment. Every few nights, she would take it out and read the names. Entry 1, Sarah Mitchell, born March 3, 1983, 680 grams, 47 days in the NICU, home. Entry 847, James Robert Chen, born December 12, 2023, 920 grams, 31 days, home. 40 years of babies that made it, 40 years of small victories. And there she was, alone in a parking lot, wondering if she would make it through the night. The diner was called Lucky's. It sat on Hancock Street in Quincy, between a laundromat and a store that sold used furniture. The sign outside had a neon horseshoe that buzzed when it rained. She found it by accident. 3rd week of living in the car. She needed coffee and a place to sit where no one would ask questions. Lucky's was the kind of place that did not ask questions. The booths were red vinyl, cracked in places. The coffee was weak but hot. The menu had not changed since 1987, according to the faded photos on the wall. She liked it immediately. The first time she came in, she sat in the booth by the window. She ordered coffee and a blueberry muffin, $4.75. She nursed that coffee for 2.5 hours. The waitress was young, early 30s maybe. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. A small tattoo of a hummingbird behind her left ear. She refilled Margaret's cup 3 times without saying anything. On the 4th refill, she set down a second muffin. "On the house," she said. "You look like you could use it." Margaret looked up at her. Her name tag said Elena. "I can pay," Margaret told her. "I know you can, but you don't have to." She walked away before Margaret could argue. Margaret came back the next day, and the day after that. Elena worked the night shift, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. 4 days a week. She was studying to be a paralegal. She had a daughter named Sophie who was 7 years old. Margaret learned these things slowly, a sentence here, a comment there, the way you learn about someone when neither of you is trying too hard. Elena never asked Margaret about her life, not why she always came alone or where she lived, or why she always ordered the cheapest thing on the menu and made it last for hours. She just kept the coffee coming. One night in August, Margaret stayed until closing. She had not meant to. The Walmart lot she usually parked in had a police car circling. She did not want to risk it. At 1:45 a.m., Elena started wiping down the tables. Margaret gathered her things to leave. "You don't have to go yet," Elena said. "I still have the floors to mop." Margaret sat back down. Elena mopped around her, humming something Margaret did not recognize. When she finished, she slid into the booth across from Margaret. "Can I ask you something?" "Depends on what it is." "Where do you sleep?" The question hung in the air between them. Margaret could have lied. She had been lying for months, but something about the way Elena asked it made lying feel heavier than the truth. "My car," Margaret said. Elena nodded slowly. No shock, no pity, just a nod. "How long?" "Since May." "That's a long time." "Yes." Elena was quiet for a moment. Then she reached into her apron and pulled out a $20 bill. "Take this." "No." "It's not charity, it's a loan. You can pay me back when things turn around." Margaret looked at the bill on the table. Andrew Jackson stared up at her, that expression he always has, like he knew something you didn't. Her checking account had $47 left. Blood pressure medication was a distant memory, 4 months gone. Hunger had become background noise. And here was this woman, working nights at a diner for tips, offering her money she probably couldn't spare. "I can't." "Why not?" "Because if I take it, then it's real." Elena didn't say anything for a long time. Then she pushed the bill closer. "It was already real," she said. "Now you just have $20 more." Margaret took the money. Her hand was shaking when she picked it up. Elena pretended not to notice. "Same time tomorrow?" "Same time tomorrow." Elena stood up and started turning off the lights. Margaret walked to the door. "Margaret?" She turned. "Be careful out there." 2 weeks later, Margaret met Dolores. She was parked in a different lot, a grocery store on the edge of town, closed at 10 p.m., empty by 11. She was reading by flashlight, Agatha Christie, the one where everyone is guilty. A woman knocked on her window. She was older than Margaret, maybe 63, 64. Gray hair cut short, a face that had seen weather. She was wearing an army green coat that was too big for her, the kind they sell at surplus stores. "You're new," the woman said. Margaret rolled down the window an inch. "Excuse me?" "New to this, living in your car. I can always tell." Margaret did not know what to say. "The way you park," the woman continued, "too close to the light, too visible. You're trying to feel safe, but you're making yourself a target." "Target for what?" "For people who notice." The woman pulled a cigarette from her pocket and lit it with a match. "My name's Dolores. I've been doing this 4 years. If you want, I can show you a few things." She said it the way someone might offer to help carry groceries. No judgment, no pity, just a fact. "I'm Margaret."
"Nice to meet you, Margaret. Now move your car to the back corner, near the dumpster. Nobody looks there." Margaret moved to the car. Dolores followed on foot. She walked slowly, deliberately, like someone who'd learned that hurrying attracted attention. When Margaret parked, Dolores leaned against the door. "What did you do before this?" "I was a nurse." "What kind?" "NICU, premature babies." "Huh." She took a long drag on her cigarette. "I was a teacher," Dolores said. "High school history, 31 years." She told Margaret about the cancer that ate her savings, how the medical bills took everything else, how her husband left when things got hard. "Then I got sick and couldn't work anymore. The apartment went first, then the car. Well, my first car. I'm on my third one now." She laughed, a dry, practical laugh. "I didn't choose this," Dolores said. "Nobody does. But I'm still here. That counts for something." Over the next few weeks, Margaret taught Dolores how to survive. Staying warm when the temperature dropped meant cardboard under the sleeping bag, newspaper inside the coat, a candle in a coffee can for heat, but never for more than an hour. Most of all, she taught Margaret how to be invisible. "You want people to see you but not notice you," Dolores explained. "There's a difference. You want to look like you belong wherever you are. Not too clean, not too dirty, not too anything." She gave Margaret a can of pepper spray, just in case. Margaret never had to use it, but she kept it close. Dolores did not live in her car. She had a spot under a bridge on the south side of town, a tent, a sleeping bag rated to 20 below, a routine that kept her alive. She never asked Margaret for anything, never wanted anything back. One night, Margaret asked her, "Why are you helping me?" Dolores was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Because when I first ended up out here, someone helped me. When I asked them why, they said the same thing. It's just what we do." Dolores became Margaret's teacher, her guide, her friend. Margaret did not know it then, but Dolores would also become the reason she survived the hardest night of her life. 23rd of October. Margaret remembered the date exactly. The temperature had dropped to 34 degrees. Cold enough to see your breath. Cold enough to make sleeping in a car feel dangerous. She had parked in her usual spot, back corner of a grocery store lot near the dumpster, just like Dolores taught her. 2 blankets wrapped around her, Harold's coat over her chest, a hat pulled down over her ears. She was almost asleep when she heard the footsteps. 2 men walking across the lot, heading toward her car. She stayed perfectly still, eyes closed, breathing slow, pretending to be invisible. They stopped next to her window. "There's someone in there. Probably just some homeless lady. Check the doors." She felt the handle move. Locked. Thank God she always locked the doors. "Let's just go, not worth it." "Hold on, let me try the back." She heard him walk around the car. Try the back door. Also locked. Her heart was pounding so hard she was sure they could hear it. She gripped the pepper spray, the one Dolores gave her. For what felt like forever, they stood there, talking in low voices, deciding what to do. Then one of them kicked the car. Hard. The whole frame shook. "Wake up! We know you're in there!" She did not move. She did not breathe. She prayed. Finally, after what felt like hours, but was probably 2 minutes, they walked away. I heard their footsteps fade across the parking lot. A car started somewhere in the distance. then nothing. She sat up. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely hold the steering wheel. She started the engine. It took 3 tries. The cold had gotten to the battery. On the 3rd try, it caught. She pulled out of the lot without looking back. She drove for an hour. No destination. Just movement. Just distance. Finally, she pulled into a rest stop on the highway. Well lit, cameras everywhere, trucks parked in rows. She sat there until sunrise. She did not sleep. She just watched the sky get lighter, waiting for morning and whatever safety it might bring. The next evening, Margaret found Dolores at her usual spot, under the bridge, cooking something over a small fire. Dolores looked at her face and said, "What happened?" Margaret told her. Dolores listened without interrupting. When Margaret finished, Dolores handed her a cup of something hot, instant coffee with too much sugar. "That won't be the last time. You got lucky. Next time, park somewhere with cameras, people, light. Or find somewhere inside." "I don't have anywhere inside." "Then find one." That night, Margaret slept in her car at a hospital parking lot, Boston Medical Center, where Harold died. It seemed wrong somehow, and also right. She parked near the emergency entrance, under a bright light, next to a security guard booth. Nobody bothered her, but she knew Dolores was right. She could not keep doing this. Winter was coming, and she was running out of time.
October 17th, the day she lost the car. She had parked in a lot near the waterfront. Nice neighborhood, big houses. She thought it would be safe. She was wrong. At 6 a.m., a police officer knocked on her window. The officer was polite, professional, but firm. "This is a residential permit zone. You can't park here overnight." "I'm sorry, I didn't know." The officer asked for her license and registration. Margaret gave them to her. The officer walked back to her cruiser, ran the plates, came back with a different expression. "Your registration expired 3 months ago." "I know, I've been meaning to renew it." "I'm going to have to call a tow." The officer was not unkind about it. She gave Margaret time to gather her things. She even offered to call someone. Margaret told her there was no one to call. The tow truck arrived 20 minutes later. A man with a clipboard and a chain. He hooked up the Honda without looking at her. She watched them take it away. Everything she had left, home, shelter, independence, all of it hooked to a chain and driven away. The notebook was in the glove compartment. She had forgotten to grab it. She spent the next 3 hours walking. No destination, just movement, just trying to figure out what to do next. $47 in her pocket. The impound fee would be at least $400, plus the registration, plus whatever fines had accumulated. She could not afford any of it. That afternoon, she found herself standing outside a church, Grace Baptist, a small building on a side street, the kind of church that has been there for 100 years. She did not go inside. She just stood there, looking at the door, wondering if she had the right to ask for help. A man came out, older, maybe 70, 71, white hair, kind eyes. He was wearing a cardigan sweater. "Can I help you?" "I don't know." He smiled. "Well, That's an honest answer. Would you like to come inside? His name was William Hayes, Pastor Hayes. He had been running the church for 32 years. He did not ask what she was doing outside or where she lived. He just made her a cup of tea and let her sit in his office. After an hour, she told him everything. The pension suspension, the car becoming her home, the notebook with 847 names, the impound lot that now held it all. She listened without interrupting. When she finished, he said, "We have a room in the basement. Nothing fancy, just a bed and a bathroom. You're welcome to stay as long as you need." I can't pay. Did I ask for payment? That night, Margaret slept in a bed for the first time in 5 months. Clean sheets, a pillow, a door that locked. She cried for an hour. Then she slept for 12. The next morning, Pastor Hayes was waiting for breakfast. Toast, eggs, orange juice. "So what's in this notebook of yours?" She told him. 847 names, 847 babies, 40 years of small miracles. He nodded slowly. That's worth getting back. On the third day, she told him about the impound lot. "There's a notebook in the glove compartment. I need to get it back. Is it valuable?" "Not to anyone else." "Then it's valuable." He reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. "Emergency fund. The church keeps one for situations like this." "I can't take money from the church." "It's not from the church. It's from people who have been where you are. They contributed so the next person wouldn't have to go through it alone." He pressed the envelope into her hands. $500. More than enough for the impound lot, more than she had held in months. "I'll pay it back." "I know you will." The impound lot was on the south side of Quincy. Chain link fence, concrete yard, a trailer that served as an office. She paid the $475. The clerk handed her the keys without looking up. The Honda was parked in the back row, dusty, with a crack in the windshield she did not remember. She opened the glove compartment. The notebook was there. Black cover, yellow pages. She held it against her chest, like a child holds a stuffed animal after a nightmare. She drove back to the church. Pastor Hayes was waiting on the steps. "You got it?" She held up the notebook. "Good. Now come inside. There's someone here to see you." Margaret followed him into the church. Sitting in the front pew was a woman she did not recognize. 42 years old, maybe. Black hair, professional clothes, a look on her face that was half nervous, half hopeful. The woman stood when she saw Margaret. "Mrs. Crawford? Do I know you?" "My name is Rachel Chen. You were my nursing instructor, Boston Children's, 2005. 2005. 19 years ago. Margaret had trained hundreds of nurses since then, thousands of faces. She could not remember them all. But something about Rachel's eyes, something familiar. "You had just started the NICU rotation," Margaret said slowly. "You were terrified of the ventilators." Rachel laughed. "I was terrified of everything. You told me that fear was just respect for the job." "I remember." Rachel's voice cracked. "I've been looking for you for 3 months." They sat in Pastor Hayes' office. He made more tea, then left them alone. Rachel told Margaret her story. After the NICU rotation, she had switched to emergency medicine, worked her way up, became chief of the NICU at Massachusetts General. 3 months ago, she had tried to reach out to Margaret, a reunion for former students, a thank you dinner, something to honor the nurses who had trained them. "But you had vanished," Rachel said. "No phone, no address,
No one at the hospital knew where you had gone. I didn't want anyone to know. Why not? Because I was ashamed. Rachel was quiet for a moment. Then she pulled out her phone. I hired a private investigator. I hope you're not angry. Margaret did not know what to say. He found out about the pension, the suspension, the error. She looked at Margaret. Mrs. Crawford, it wasn't an error. The room went very still. Someone used your social security number to file for benefits in another state. A woman in Worcester, 34 years old. She had been doing it for 18 months before they caught it. What? Identity theft. She stole your identity, filed for your pension, collected the payments while you were sleeping in your car. Margaret sat there, trying to process what Rachel had just told her. 8 months of phone calls, 8 months of hold music and bureaucratic runarounds, and the whole time, someone had been stealing from her. They arrested her last week, Rachel said. 17 counts, federal charges. She's looking at 8 years. My pension? Being reinstated, with back payments, full restitution. It might take 60 days, but it's coming. Margaret started to cry. Not the quiet crying she had learned in the car. Real crying, the kind that shakes your whole body. Rachel handed her a tissue. There's more. Margaret looked at her. I told some people about you, other nurses you trained, other students who remembered you. When they heard what happened, they wanted to help. Help how? Rachel pulled out an envelope. We put together a fund just to get you through until the pension comes back. It's not much, $800. I can't take your money. It's not my money. It's from 23 people who said the same thing. Margaret Crawford taught me how to be a nurse. Now it's our turn. Margaret took the envelope. Her hands were still shaking. There's one more thing. Margaret looked at her. The notebook, the one with the names, would you mind if I took a picture of it? Why? Because I think those names want to know what happened to the woman who saved them. Margaret handed Rachel the notebook. Rachel photographed every page, 847 names, 847 stories. Thank you. For what? For teaching me that every baby deserves a fight. I never forgot that. That night, Margaret slept in the church basement again. But something had changed. For the first time in months, she was not invisible. Someone had seen her. Someone had looked, and they had not looked away.
The next few weeks were a blur of paperwork and phone calls. Rachel connected me with a detective named Morales, Boston PD, Financial Crimes Division. He had been working the identity theft case for months. You're victim number 17, he told me. Same pattern every time. Single women, retired, limited family. She targeted people who wouldn't make noise. I made noise. Not enough, not for a long time. He was right, and that was the hardest part to accept. I had been so determined to handle things on my own, so convinced that asking for help was a kind of failure. And in that silence, someone had stolen 6 months of my life. The woman's name was Carla Reeves, 34 years old. She worked in the claims department of a medical billing company, access to thousands of social security numbers. She had been doing this for 4 years, 17 victims that they knew of, maybe more. Most of them were like me, older, alone, too proud or too scared to ask questions. She counted on you staying quiet, Detective Morales said. That was her whole strategy. Find people who wouldn't fight back. I fought back. Eventually, but by then she had already moved on to the next one.
The restitution process took longer than Rachel had promised. Not 60 days, 92. But eventually the checks started coming. Back payments, restored benefits, everything that had been stolen returned. I paid back Pastor Hayes first, the $500 from the emergency fund. He tried to refuse it. That money is supposed to go forward, not backward. Then consider it going forward. Put it in the fund for the next person. He smiled. Same thing Elena said when she paid back her loan. You know Elena? Everyone knows Elena. She's been helping people longer than I have. Rachel found me an apartment, a studio on the 3rd floor of an old brownstone. Small, clean, $800 a month. It's not much, she said, but it's yours. I stood in the middle of the empty room, hardwood floors, a window that faced east, morning light streaming through the glass. It's perfect. Elena came to help me move in. She brought coffee and donuts and a 7-year-old named Sophie who wanted to see where the notebook lady lived. Can I see the notebook? I showed her. 847 names, 847 babies. That's a lot of babies. Yes, it is. Did they all make it? Every single one. Sophie traced her finger down the page. That's really cool. Elena laughed. High praise from a 7-year-old. Dolores came by too. She stood in the doorway looking at the apartment. Not bad. You did all right. I had help. We all have help. The trick is learning to take it. She gave me a hug, the first time she had ever touched me. I'm proud of you. I don't know why. Because you're still here. That's the only thing that matters. That night, I sat alone in my new apartment, the notebook open in my lap, 847 names looking back at me. I thought about everything that had happened, the car and the parking lots, the cold nights, the fear that had become my constant companion. And I thought about the people who had found me. Elena with her coffee and her $20 loan, Dolores with her cigarettes and her practical wisdom, Pastor Hayes with his quiet kindness, Rachel with her determination to find a ghost. I had spent so long trying to be invisible, trying to disappear, trying not to burden anyone with my problems. And in the end, it was the people who refused to let me disappear that had saved my life. I closed the notebook. I looked out the window at the city lights, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something I had almost forgotten. Hope. The photo changed everything. Rachel posted it to a private Facebook group, Former NICU Nurses, a small community, maybe 200 members. She wrote, "This is Margaret Crawford's notebook. 847 babies, 42 years. She saved them all, and then she disappeared. Here's her story." Within 24 hours, the post had been shared 3,000 times. Within a week, 47,000. People I had never met were reading about me, commenting, sharing, sending messages. Some of them were nurses who remembered me. Some of them were students I had trained decades ago. Some of them were parents who had been in that NICU when their child was fighting for life. And some of them were the names in the notebook. The first one to reach out was Sarah Mitchell. Entry number 1, born March 3, 1983, 680 grams, 47 days in the NICU. "My mother told me about you," she wrote. "She said you held me every night when she couldn't be there. She said you sang to me. She said you were the reason I'm alive." Sarah was 40 years old now, a veterinarian in Portland, married with 2 kids of her own. "I just wanted to say thank you for everything."
The messages kept coming. Marcus Williams, entry 234, born 1989, 740 grams. He was a Marine now, 2 tours in Afghanistan. He sent a photo of himself in uniform. "You probably don't remember me," he wrote, "but my mom never forgot you. She passed away last year. One of the last things she told me was to find the nurse who saved my life." The twins, Jacob and Emma Rodriguez, entries 501 and 502, born 1996, 620 and 640 grams. They had been given a 10% chance of survival. Both of them made it. Emma was a teacher now. Jacob was an engineer. They sent a video, the two of them standing side by side. "Hi, Mrs. Crawford. We just wanted you to know. We're still here, and it's because of you." I watched that video 17 times. Rachel called me 3 weeks after the post went viral. Something happened. Something big. What? One of the names reached out. Entry 612, born 1989, 720 grams. He wants to meet you. Who is he? His name is Ethan Mercer. He's the CEO of a company called Care Signal. I had never heard of it. "It's a healthcare technology company," Rachel said. "They make software for hospitals, scheduling, patient tracking, that kind of thing." She paused. "They're worth $1.4 billion. I sat down.
He read the post, Rachel continued. He recognized his name. Entry 612, Ethan Cole Mercer. He was in your NICU for 89 days, touch and go the whole time.
I remember. And I did remember. A tiny baby with blue eyes, a heart that kept forgetting to beat. His mother used to bring me coffee every morning, even when she had been up all night. Her name was Linda, Rachel said. She's still alive. She's flying in to meet you. I could not speak. He wants to see you, tomorrow, if that's okay. Tomorrow. Is that okay? I looked at the notebook in my lap. Entry 612, Ethan Cole Mercer, 720 grams, 89 days. Home. Yes, that's okay.
Ethan Mercer was 36 years old. Tall, dark hair, with the same blue eyes I remembered from the incubator. He came alone, no entourage, no security, just a man in a simple jacket standing at my apartment door. Mrs. Crawford. Margaret, please, come in. He sat on my second-hand couch. I made tea the same way I had made it for Harold, 2 sugars, milk on the side. He looked around the apartment, small and simple, nothing to suggest that the woman who lived here had once slept in a car. Rachel told me everything, he said. What happened to you, the pension, the months you spent on the street. I nodded. I spent 3 years building a company that helps hospitals track patient outcomes, he said. 3 years trying to fix a system that's broken, and the whole time, the woman who saved my life was invisible, falling through the cracks. No one knew. I didn't want anyone to know. That's what kills me. He pulled out his phone and showed me a photo. A tiny baby in an incubator, blue eyes, wires everywhere. That's me. Day 47. My heart stopped 3 times that week. Every time, you were the one who brought me back. I remember. My mother told me the stories, how you used to sing to me, how you would hold me against your chest when the monitors started beeping, how you never gave up. It's what we do. No, it's what you did, not everyone, you. He reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. This isn't charity. This is restitution. I don't need restitution. I know you don't, but I need to give it. The system failed you. I can't fix the system, but I can fix this. He placed the envelope on the table. $200,000. I stared at him. It's not about the money, he said. It's about what you gave me. 89 days, every single one of those days, you chose to fight for a baby you had never met, a baby who had no right to survive. You gave me my life. This is the least I can do. I did not know what to say. My mother is coming tomorrow, he said. She wants to see you, if that's okay. Of course. He stood up. One more thing. The notebook, the one with the names, would you let me help you find them? Find them? All 847 names. I have resources, researchers, people who can track down anyone. I want to find every name in that book, every baby who made it. I want them to know you're okay. I looked at the notebook on the table. 847 names, 40 years, scattered across the country, maybe the world. Why? Because they deserve to know, and so do you. That night, after he left, I sat in my apartment and looked at the check. $200,000. More money than I had ever seen in my life. I thought about Harold, about what he would say. Take it, Maggie. You earned it. I thought about Elena, Dolores, Pastor Hayes, all the people who had given me $20, $500, their time, their kindness. And I thought about 847 babies who had grown up to become 847 people, living their lives, raising families, building futures, because someone had refused to give up on them. I picked up the notebook. I opened it to the first page. Entry 1, Sarah Mitchell, born March 3, 1983, 680 grams, 47 days. Home. I traced my finger over the word. Home. That's all any of us want, a place to belong, a place where someone knows our name. I closed the notebook. I looked out the window. The city lights were twinkling. Somewhere out there, 847 people were living their lives. And for the first time in months, I felt like one of them. Ethan kept his promise. Within a week, he had assembled a team, 3 researchers, access to databases Margaret had never heard of, a budget she did not want to know. They started with the easy ones, names that were unique, births that were well documented, families that had stayed in the area. By the end of the first month, they had found 312. The messages started coming. Photos, letters, videos, stories Margaret had forgotten, and stories she had never known. Marcus Williams, the Marine, sent a longer message. He had been stationed in Kabul when his convoy hit an IED. 3 soldiers died. He survived. I thought about you, he wrote, when I was lying in that hospital bed. I thought about what my mother told me, that when I was born, I wasn't supposed to make it, but some nurse refused to give up. And because of that, I got 36 years. 36 years that weren't supposed to happen. The twins, Jacob and Emma, organized a reunion. 15 of the names, all adults now, all living within driving distance of Boston. They met at a restaurant downtown. Margaret was not invited, but Rachel showed her the photos. 15 people who started their lives in the same NICU, raising glasses, telling stories, connected by something they had in common. Her. Linda Mercer arrived on a Tuesday, Ethan's mother. 70 years old now, gray hair, the same kind eyes Margaret remembered from 1989. She stood at Margaret's door with a photo album in her hands. "May I?" "Of course." They sat on the couch. Linda opened the album. Page after page of Ethan. Day 1, Day 10, Day 47, Day 89, the day he went home. "I kept everything," Linda said. "Every photo, every card, every note the nurses wrote." She turned to a page near the middle, a photo Margaret had never seen. Margaret, 35 years younger, holding baby Ethan against her chest, sound asleep. "My husband took that. He snuck into the NICU with a camera, against the rules, but he wanted to capture the moment. I don't remember this." "You were singing," Linda said. "Some old hymn. Ethan's heart rate was dropping, the alarms were going off, and you just picked him up and started singing. By the time you finished, his heart was steady again." Margaret looked at the photo. A young woman she barely recognized, a tiny baby, a moment she had forgotten. "You saved him," Linda said. "Not the machines, not the doctors, you." Linda reached into her purse and pulled out a small envelope. "This is from me, not from Ethan, from me." Margaret opened it. A check, $50,000. "I can't take this." "You already did, 36 years ago. You took my son when nobody else would. You carried him when I couldn't. Now it's my turn to carry you." 200 nurses had signed up to attend a gathering, a reunion, a thank you. Rachel organized it. November 15th, Boston Children's Hospital, the same building where Margaret had spent 42 years. She was going to see them all, the nurses she had trained, the students who had become doctors, the families who had never forgotten. And the names, the 847 names, as many as could make it. Margaret was terrified. "You'll be fine," Rachel said. "What if I don't remember them? Then they'll remember you. That's all that matters." November 15th, the day of the gathering. Margaret woke up at 5 a.m., too nervous to sleep, too scared to be excited. Elena had helped her pick out a dress, simple, blue, the color of hospital scrubs. "You look beautiful," Sophie said when she saw her. Sophie was practicing her spelling words at the kitchen table. "Thank you, sweetheart." "Are all the babies going to be there?" "They're not babies anymore. They're grown-ups now." "But they were babies in your book." "Yes, they were." Margaret picked up Rachel at noon. The gathering started at 2, but there were preparations, setup, things to organize. Margaret just needed to be there. Boston Children's Hospital. The building had changed since she retired. New wings, new technology, new faces at the front desk. But the smell was the same, that particular hospital smell, disinfectant and hope. Margaret had not been back since Harold's funeral. Walking through those doors felt like stepping into a dream. The gathering was in the auditorium, 3rd floor, the same room where they used to have staff meetings. When she walked in, there were already people waiting, dozens of them, nurses in scrubs, doctors in white coats, families in their Sunday best. And the names. She saw them immediately. Adults now, but she could see the babies they had been. Something in the eyes, something in the way they held themselves. They had survived, grown up, come back. The program was simple: a few speeches, a slideshow, stories from the families. Rachel introduced Margaret. This is Margaret Crawford, 42 years in the NICU, 847 babies who went home because of her, and 6 months ago, she was living in her car because the system failed her. Today, we're here to say, we see you, we remember, and we're not letting you disappear again. One by one, they came to the microphone. A woman named Christine. Her daughter was entry 89, born 1987, 580 grams. My husband and I were told to prepare for the worst. We were told to start thinking about funeral arrangements. And then this nurse walked in. She looked at our daughter and she said, "Not today." Just like that. Not today. And she was right. A man named Thomas, entry 234's father, Marcus Williams' father. My son is a Marine. He's been to war. He's seen things no one should see. But the bravest thing he ever did was survive his first week of life. And he did it because Margaret Crawford wouldn't let him give up. A young woman named Jessica, entry 501, one of the twins. My brother and I were born at 26 weeks. We were so small, our parents couldn't hold us for weeks. But Margaret Crawford could, and she did, every day. She made us feel like we belonged in this world. Margaret sat in the front row, crying the whole time. They kept coming, story after story, name after name. 40 years of miracles walking up to a microphone to say thank you. At the end, they asked Margaret to speak. She did not know what to say. She walked to the podium and looked out at the crowd, 300 faces looking back at her. I was just doing my job. Someone in the back shouted, "No, you weren't!" Laughter, tears, applause. She waited for the noise to die down. When you work in an NICU, you learn something very quickly. You learn that life is fragile, that it can end at any moment, that the line between making it and not making it is thinner than you can imagine. She took a breath. But you also learn something else. You learn that sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference. A song, a touch, a promise that you'll be there when they wake up. You can't control whether a baby lives or dies, but you can control whether they feel alone. She looked at the crowd. I spent 6 months living in my car, and the hardest part wasn't the cold, it wasn't the fear. It was feeling invisible, feeling like nobody saw me, nobody knew I was there. She took a breath. But you saw me, you found me, and that's the only thing that matters. After the gathering, people lined up to talk to her, to hug her, to show her photos of their children, their grandchildren, to thank her for things she did not remember doing. In the back of the room, she saw 3 familiar faces: Elena, Dolores, Pastor Hayes. They had come, the people who had saved her before anyone else knew she needed saving. She walked over to them. "What are you doing here?" Dolores smiled. "Someone had to make sure you didn't disappear again."
3 weeks after the gathering, I made a decision. Ethan's check was still sitting in my bank account, $200,000, untouched. Linda's check too, $50,000, plus the back payments from Social Security, plus the donations from nurses and families. More money than I had ever had in my life. And I knew exactly what to do with it. I found Dolores at her usual spot, under the bridge, the same place she had been for 4 years. She was cooking something over a small fire, beans and rice, the same meal she always made. "Margaret,
What brings you to my office? I sat down next to her. I want to give you something. I don't need anything. Yes, you do. I handed her an envelope. She opened it slowly, looked inside, closed it again. What is this? $50,000. She stared at me. It's for an apartment, first and last month's rent, security deposit, furniture, everything you need to get off the street. I can't take this. Why not? Because I don't deserve it. I looked at her, this woman who had taught me to survive, who had given me pepper spray and parking tips, who had checked on me every week to make sure I was still alive. You taught me everything. When I had nothing, you showed me how to live. When I was scared, you made me brave. When I wanted to give up, you made me keep going. That's not worth $50,000. You're right, it's worth more, but this is what I have. She was quiet for a long time. The fire crackled between us. I've been out here 4 years. I forgot what a ceiling looked like, what it feels like to sleep without listening for footsteps. Now you'll remember. She looked at me. What if I fail? What if I can't do it? Then you try again. That's what you taught me. Just keep trying. 2 weeks later, Dolores moved into an apartment. 3rd floor, 1 bedroom, a view of the park. I helped her carry boxes, not that she had many. 4 years on the street, and everything she owned fit in a shopping cart. We need to get you some furniture. One thing at a time. She stood in the middle of the empty room, the same way I had stood in mine, looking around at the walls, the windows, the light streaming through. It's quiet. Yes, I forgot what quiet sounds like. She sat down on the floor, crossed her legs, closed her eyes. Thank you. For what? For seeing me. I sat down next to her. 2 women who had been invisible, finding their way back. That's what we do. What? See each other. That night, I wrote in my notebook. Not the baby notebook, a new one, a different list. Entry 1. Elena Kowalski. Waitress. Mother. Friend. The first person who refused to look away. Entry 2. Dolores Reyes. Teacher. Survivor. Guide. The woman who taught me to live when I had forgotten. Entry 3. William Hayes. Pastor. Listener. Believer. The man who gave me a bed when I had nothing. Entry 4. Rachel Chen. Nurse. Searcher. Fighter. The student who became a lifeline. I did not know how many names would end up in this notebook, but I knew one thing. Every person who had helped me deserved to be remembered, just like those 847 babies, just like me. Ethan called Margaret in January. I have an idea, and I want to run it by you. I'm listening. What if we created something permanent, not just a one-time gift, something that would help people like you, people who fall through the cracks? What do you mean? A foundation, funded properly, staffed with people who know what they're doing, dedicated to finding elderly women who are living on the street and helping them get back on their feet. Margaret was quiet for a moment. Why elderly women? Because they're the most invisible. They're the least likely to ask for help, the least likely to be seen, and the most likely to disappear. Ethan paused. Like you almost did. The foundation launched in March. Ethan put in $5 million to start. Other donors followed. By the end of the first year, it had helped 147 women. But the part Margaret cared about most was the name, the Dolores Reyes Fund. When Margaret told Dolores, she cried, the first time Margaret had ever seen her cry. "Why me? I didn't do anything." "You did everything. You survived, and then you helped others survive. That's the whole point." Dolores became the fund's first employee, outreach coordinator. Her job was simple: find women who were living on the street and connect them with resources. She was perfect for it. She knew the spots, the tricks, the ways people hide when they don't want to be found. "Because I was one of them," Dolores said. "I know what they're thinking, I know what they're afraid of, and I know what they need to hear." Within 6 months, Dolores had helped 89 women find housing. Within a year, 147. Each one of them got the same thing Margaret got: a bed, a bathroom, and someone who refused to look away. Elena finished her paralegal certification. She got a job at a legal aid office in Quincy, still worked nights at Lucky's sometimes, just to keep her hand in. Sophie started calling Margaret Grandma Margaret. Margaret did not correct her. Pastor Hayes retired from the church, 60 years of ministry. He said he wanted to spend his remaining time doing smaller things. What smaller things? Helping people, one at a time, the way you helped me remember why I started in the first place. He married a woman named Gloria, a widow he had met at a grief support group. They moved to a cottage on Cape Cod. Margaret visited them every month. And Ethan. Ethan kept building. Care Signal expanded. New products, new markets, new ways to help hospitals work better. But every quarter he sent Margaret a report, not about the company, about the names. "Entry 612 checking in," he would write. "Here's what we found this month." By the end of the year, they had located 714 of the 847 names. 714 people who were alive because someone had refused to give up on them. Margaret kept both notebooks now, the old one with 847 babies, and the new one with the people who saved her. Sometimes she would open them side by side, look at the names, think about the connections, how entry 612 had become the reason she was still alive, how a waitress and a homeless woman and a pastor had taught her more about grace than 40 years of church, how 847 small miracles led to one big one: her. Still here, still breathing, still counting. 1 year later, Margaret woke up at 7 a.m., made coffee, sat by the window, watched the sun rise over the city. The apartment was different now, not empty anymore. Furniture, photos on the walls, a life. Dolores called at 8. We found another one, Patricia, 62, living in her car behind a grocery store in Revere. Same story, medical bills, lost her job, couldn't ask for help. Is she okay? She will be. I'm heading there now. Do you need backup? Always. Margaret met Dolores in the parking lot, a grocery store on the edge of Revere. Cold morning, February. The car was parked in the back corner, near the dumpster, just like Dolores had taught Margaret. An old Toyota, frost on the windows, a woman inside, wrapped in blankets. Dolores knocked on the window, gentle, the way she had knocked on Margaret's. "My name is Dolores. I used to live like this too. Can we talk?" An hour later, Patricia was sitting in their office, drinking hot coffee, filling out paperwork. "We can have you in an apartment by tonight." Patricia looked at them like they were speaking a foreign language. "Why are you doing this?" "Because someone did it for us." The fund had grown. 23 full-time staff now, 3 offices, partnerships with hospitals, shelters, social services. But the core was still the same: find the invisible, see them, help them. Ethan visited in March. He brought his mother and his daughter, a 3-year-old named Sarah Margaret. "After you," Linda said. "And after entry 1, Ethan added, Sarah Mitchell, the first name in your notebook." Margaret held the baby. Sarah Margaret, a new life named for an old one. She has your eyes, Margaret told Linda. She has your spirit, Linda said. Sophie was 9 now. She had started volunteering at the fund on weekends, sorting donations, answering phones, telling everyone who would listen about Grandma Margaret and the notebook. She's going to be a nurse, Elena said. Maybe, or maybe something else. Whatever she chooses, she'll be good at it. How do you know? Because she sees people. That's the most important thing. Dolores had her own notebook now. Not babies, women. Every woman she had helped find housing. Every name, every story. I'm up to 312. That's amazing. It's not enough. It's a start. Margaret still had the old notebook, 847 names. It sat on her desk, a reminder. Sometimes she would open it up and read the names out loud. Sarah Mitchell, Marcus Williams, Jacob and Emma Rodriguez, Ethan Cole Mercer. 847 people who were alive because someone refused to give up. 847 stories that had led to hers. On a quiet evening in April, Margaret sat on her couch, the city lights outside, the notebook in her lap. She thought about Harold, about what he would say if he could see her now. "You did good, Maggie. I knew you would." She thought about all the people who had helped her. Elena and her $20 loan, Dolores and her pepper spray, Pastor Hayes and his emergency fund, Rachel and her determination, Ethan and his resources, Linda and her love. She thought about the 847 babies, adults now, some of them parents, some grandparents, living their lives because someone had believed in them. And she thought about the new notebook, the names she was still collecting, the people who were still being found, Patricia, and the ones who would come after her. Margaret closed the notebook. She looked out the window. She smiled. Not because everything was perfect, it wasn't, it never would be, but because she was still here, still counting, still believing. That was enough. If you're listening to this, there's something you should know. You are not invisible. Even if it feels like no one sees you, even if you've been forgotten, even if you've disappeared into the background of your own life, someone, somewhere, is looking for you. Margaret Crawford learned this the hard way. She was sleeping in a car in a parking lot, convinced that no one knew she existed. And then a waitress gave her a muffin. A homeless woman taught her how to survive. A pastor gave her a bed. A former student found her, and a baby she had saved 36 years ago gave her life back. You are not alone, even when you feel alone. You are not forgotten, even when the world seems to have moved on without you. The people who love you are looking. The people who need you are waiting. The people whose lives you changed are searching. You just have to let them find you. Margaret spent 42 years writing names in a notebook. 847 babies who weren't supposed to survive. 847 small miracles. And then those miracles saved her. If you're going through something hard right now, remember this. Ask for help. Even when it's scary, even when it feels like weakness, even when you'd rather disappear. The strongest thing you can do is let someone see you. The bravest thing you can do is say, "I need help." Margaret is 71 years old now. She has an apartment, a family that chose her, a purpose that found her, and a notebook with 847 names that remind her every day, small things matter. What would you have done in her place? Would you have asked asked for help sooner? Would you have reached out? Tell us in the comments. Tell us where you're listening from and what your story is. Because every story matters. Every name, every small kindness that we give each other along the way. If this story found something true in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, it's never too late to come home to yourself. Like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next story. 847 names and counting.